Canada is a small country, or worse, it's a big country with a very small population, and that our competitive advantage will rely entirely on our ability to collaborate with each other, and to collaborate across sectors, across geographic boundaries, public and private, across the continuum of small, medium, and large, and to have a focus on harnessing that collaboration for global markets. The other piece that's fundamental to our theory of how you build a sustainable, robust innovation economy is that you have to look at everything through the dual lens of the economy and society, that you have to align that dual mission of building a robust economy by also making sure that social and environmental impacts are taken into account.
And when you get people engaged and involved in driving change and transforming your institution, your country, your province, your industry sector, what a difference that can make.
Ontario has about 3,000 clean tech firms that employ 65,000 people, generating revenues of more than $8 billion. The Mars Discovery District has been a pivotal partner for my government in building up knowledge economy and creating an environment where entrepreneurs can succeed. Just yesterday, our Minister of Energy, Bob Chiarelli, was here to announce the winners of the Energy Apps for Ontario Challenge. And what that challenge was to come up with innovative apps to help people monitor their personal energy usage. I think what's important about that initiative is that it demonstrates, from my perspective, how all of these sectors are linked, that there isn't a separation, as Ilse was saying, there isn't a separation between the social and the economic and the energy. They're all connected, and if we deal with challenges in this sector in isolation from the rest of society, I think we miss an opportunity. And I'm pleased to unveil another great initiative that we've been working on with Mars. We're launching the new Advanced Energy Centre right here at the Mars Discovery District. Nous inaugurons le nouveau centre d'innovation en matière d'énergie, ici même au district de la découverte Mars. The centre will help homegrown energy innovations reach new markets here and overseas. It will support entrepreneurs in innovative energy technology and will allow them to succeed in the global marketplace. It will showcase to the world the expertise and technology Ontario has to offer. The Advanced Energy Centre is just one example of how partnerships between the public and private sectors can yield exceptional results. Economic development that's environmentally responsible is fundamental to the success of Ontario's energy future and Canada's energy future. And energy innovation can play a key role in capitalizing on opportunities that are changing the global energy market.
One of the first things that we've done well in this country is acknowledge the difference between traditional tech like telecoms and IT and clean tech. I think the next step, though, is to begin to demonstrate some of that head-to-head competition with fossil fuels in global markets. I think the next step, though, is to begin to demonstrate some of that head-to-head competition with fossil fuels in global markets. You know, I think when Hydrostor has partnered with an offshore wind company and they've won a commercial PPA that has beaten out a diesel provider, and the next step is beat out a coal provider, that's when I think the oil and gas sector, who understand that we have to move to a low-carbon economy. Everyone knows this now. The question is how? Can it scale? Can it keep prices down? And I think as these innovators begin to demonstrate that possibility, you'll see the big players come to help us little clean tech guys out.
Before we should talk about innovation and solution, we should better understand the challenges. There are 4 global major important energy challenges which we have to master. So the first one is the increasing distributed generation. The second one is today the limited grid capabilities we have. And the aging infrastructure is a third one. Fourth is the CO2 emission. And the last one is the non-technical losses. The importance and the priority of these different challenges vary from region to another.
Our customers have told us, coming back to the question, that they want choice, they want options, they want convenience, they want control. And again, smart grid is the avenue to allow that to occur. We want to avoid spending for our customers, that 12 to 15 cents a kilowatt hour, while these kinds of investment in technologies and demand-side management will be in the vicinity of 4.5 cents per kilowatt hour.
I think the single most effective tool that we have at our disposal is a price on carbon. If you're not going to put a price on carbon, you're not really unleashing, what everyone in this room I think acknowledges, which is the power and strength and creativity of the market. You tax the bad and untax the good.
We now have turning turbines today of various kinds, or solar panels, wind, biomass, others, around 80 to 100 major projects from 30, 40, 50 million to several billion, where Aboriginal communities are part of that future. What that does is several things. One, it opens up First Nations to be economic partners in the future economic life of the country. Secondly, it also helps tap into resources that are out there that need First Nations to be a part and maintain Inuit communities a part of that future.
The number one thing in Canada that people say drives innovation, it's all around collaboration. And if we as a group want to innovate, we have to come up with models of innovation that facilitate speed, are tolerant to failure, and are somewhat patient, that we won't always get where we want, but they're also flexible because we will learn in the process, and if we are comfortable to redirect, we may still end up with something even more brilliant than where we went. Focus on speed, we have to allow for flexibility, and we have to be patient, recognizing that the whole idea of innovation is that you will fail. And I think there's more opportunity, 2 areas, just a lot more opportunity to do pilots, and I think we get stuck not getting pilots to market because of the issues I talked about before. Everybody wants it so perfect. We take so long to get the paperwork together that I can do the pilot in 6 other countries before we can sometimes get it done here. And we just have to, I think, together as a nation, think of how to move more quickly on that. Canada, when you think of our country, we have between the strong forestry, the strong biomass, the incredible energy market with oil and gas, the strength of our electricity and our utility system, we have the capacity as a country to probably be one of the most diversified, prepared, technology-savvy energy countries in the world. How do we make this, a huge, huge competitive advantage, national competitive advantage? And every province can play. Mm-hmm. Every province can play in the energy story. And there are not too many countries in the world, and we do business in 160 of them, that have the breadth of capacity in the energy story that this country has. And instead, I think we let some of the social conversation distract us from a capacity to be the green, clean leader of energy in the world.
In general, the additional benefits of employing renewables are typically left out in the decision-making process when they are compared to options for electricity generation. A solid quantification of these benefits can offer decision makers a rationale to promote investment and help support regulations that would ease market entry for these technologies. This creates, of course, societal benefits that could be divided into avoided costs and economic benefits. And when speaking about avoided costs, consider the difference between the future business as usual and the level of cost associated with the fossil fuel-dominated energy system, and those costs required by a future energy system pathway characterized by significant expansion of non-conventional renewable energy technologies within the generation mix. Those benefits include the avoidance of the financial cost of greenhouse emissions and the associated climate impacts, the avoidance of air pollution control costs that are associated with health impact costs, and the avoidance of costs associated with efforts to maintain energy security.
We have about 300 Aboriginal and remote communities that are off-grid. They're using mostly diesel. represents about 200,000 people in the country. And they're paying up to, in Manitoba, we have 4 diesel communities left. They pay about $1.30 a kilowatt hour when the average Manitoban pays about 7 cents a kilowatt hour. There's an opportunity in there. And what I would like to say today to all you talented people in the room, all you folks with expertise, I would like to issue a challenge to you to come to us with your ideas on how we can get those off-grid communities into cleaner energy alternatives to reduce their use of diesel and create good, sustainable, clean energy.
So this is a very exciting moment. This moment is, I think, the first bilateral agreement identifying areas of cooperation between 2 provinces in Canada on the potential to advance energy innovation and enhance economic development in each jurisdiction. So it is with great, it's a great thrill to have the opportunity for both premiers to sign this document. So congratulations. Yeah, got a drum roll? Drum roll, yeah!
The forest industry is the second largest industrial user of energy. We are 573,000 terajoules worth of use, but we also happen to be a significant producer. So 80% of that demand is actually produced, that we produce by in our own capacity, mostly through bioenergy. So bioenergy has been a really important step for us in terms of our entry into the bioeconomy. And when I talk about the bioeconomy, I'm talking about the renewable economy living in harmony and a coexisting way with the natural resource economy and the broader Canadian economy. There is not one piece of advice we can give government. It's take seriously the opportunities before you, support innovation, create those regulatory and policy frameworks, build those partnerships, facilitate these things.
So when we talk about clean technology innovation as being a force for economic opportunity, I see that at the scale of the aerospace industry as a definitely achievable goal, and at the scale of the automotive industry as a stretch target.
85% of our technologies in the portfolio are energy related, and many of them would be using utilities as customers. And they don't innovate to the extent that I think they would like to, because there isn't really a motivation for them to do that if there isn't a rate-based mechanism. But you do need to have commonality of regulations. Why can't we have that across the country? But we have to have consistency. If we're going to sell a product that's Canadian branded, then the bigger the market that can be domestically obtained, the more ability we have to go out internationally.
The market potential for a microgrid isn't just doing a northern community or a Caribbean island. It's doing all of Africa, all of it, huge parts of India. Because the microgrid doesn't have to be islanded. It can coexist with the other grid. In fact, it should. So the market potential generally is undersized. I think what we could do in Canada, I think we could take a leadership position in microgrids. It brings together IT technology. It brings together analytics. It brings together storage. It brings together renewable generation. It brings together new inverter companies. And all of these could be manufacturing jobs in Ontario or Alberta or anywhere in Canada.
In export markets, as has been comment made earlier, you've got to sell solutions, not technology.
In Newfoundland and Labrador, we have our own challenges as well. We went out and found a solution in Muskrat Falls. In December 2012, Government of Newfoundland and Labrador sanctioned a game-changing project for Newfoundland and Labrador and what we believe to be for the East Coast, certainly in terms of Nova Scotia, our partners. And when we sanctioned Muskrat Falls, it's 824 megawatts of hydroelectricity. From there, we will develop a 1,100-kilometer Labrador Island link, transmission link, moving the island of Newfoundland from an isolated option dependent on fossil fuels to an integrated system, as well as a maritime link, 180-kilometer subsea cable that will link our system to Nova Scotia and onward through New Brunswick and down into the New England states. Tremendous project, but again, it's a game changer for us. But when we look at the national perspective of where we're all sharing a common goal of renewable energy, reliable, dependable, clean, efficient, then we're delighted to be able to contribute to that and certainly play a role. One of our largest challenges are those communities that are off-grid. As referenced today, Ramy is a small island off Newfoundland and Labrador, and we've gone into a special project of wind, hydrogen, and diesel, where we're doing a pilot, some research, and we're having incredible success, where there's a new monitoring system which will automatically dispatch the different sources of generation. And so far we've seen where in Ramy alone, there's been a savings of 750,000 liters of diesel. And it's been referenced here today as how are we going to beat diesel. And this is just one example that's happening in the province.
The Canadian Energy Strategy is really an important strategy. It talks about how do we make sure that whatever the energy source that we have and are using, that we're all working to make that greener and to make that cleaner. And it really talks about everything that we have in this nation, because we truly are blessed across the nation with abundant resources.
One of the things that, and today has proven this out, that often when we talk about innovation, we're talking about the private sector and we're talking about technology. But I think one of the things that we miss is the need for innovation in government to help make all of this work.
But I don't think the Canadian Energy Strategy is ever done. I think it's something that will always go and it will grow. And by working together like this, making sure that it's not just about elected folks, but that we're engaging in groups like this, and that it really becomes for all Canadians, a strategy that they see that they're part of, that this is something for them too, not just as elected folks or our deputies and our government employees, but that it is truly something that Canadians feel, our provinces feel, and our people and our citizens feel that they're connected to and that they have a way to help promote as well.
What a thrill it was to hear from all of you. Terrific closing, and I loved how you closed it with the customer. At the end of the day, the ratepayers and the customers in this country are the people that we're serving. And if we listen to them better, we'll become more efficient, we'll be more innovative, we'll become more productive.